Well, Emmanuel Mark is the next person we'll have on set here. He is the national chairman of that's Transformation Party.
Correct.
Thank you for coming out this morning. And looking at this scenario, because we've seen the police authorities having this conversation with political parties across the country in different states, saying, listen, you all have to conduct yourselves properly. You have to ensure that you play and abide by the rules. Yes, it's an election year. We've had 2 coming this year and the general one next year. From what you've seen, excuse me, about the conduct of politicians, you think that, okay, that meeting, first of all, comes at the appropriate time, and secondly, are they handling themselves the way they ought to, politicians?
Well, the meetings definitely come at the appropriate time. The elections are coming. It's good for the police to make the politicians aware of the fact that their actions or inactions affect the general populace. So the meetings are coming at the right time. Now, as to whether politicians are handling themselves appropriately, that's another question. I will tell you that in my view, especially considering how heated up the polity is now, I would say that a lot of people, a lot of politicians have become self-centered or very narrow-minded and are pursuing agendas that, to a large extent, in my view, that are not very nationalistic. So in that extent, I would say that a lot of politicians are not doing exactly what they're supposed to do.
Why do you say the system is heated up?
It's heated up for APC to ask its members of the National Assembly, both Senate and House, to more or less hold down, delay, or not approve any executive bills, including the budget, not even to approve the appointment of service chiefs. That's definitely very heated up politics.
You left up the caveat, until.
Yes, until the issues in Rivers State are resolved. That is their caveat. But I've asked myself the question is, what would amount to resolution of the issues in Rivers State? Because in Rivers State, you see a situation where some local government chairman or a local government chairman was removed and they've gone to court and the court have said reinstate the person is not being reinstated. That in itself is a cause for continued heating up of the polity in Rivers State. In the Rivers State House of Assembly, there are such factionalization of the House that the National Assembly has more or less taken over their powers, except for when they now ask them to go back. But even when they are going back, you find that they pass the budget, not in the State House of Assembly. That is also something heating up the polity. And these are issues that are local in Rivers State. So when you say that executive bills will not be passed until the issues in Rivers State are resolved, I want to say, what would be the mark point where you can decide that these issues have been resolved? How do you determine that those issues have been resolved? So you find that you've given a very opaque condition for somebody to meet. So the person doesn't know when he meets that condition.
Some people say that they can start with the redeployment of the police commissioner in the state.
Yes, but you see, I don't know if you read the interview granted by Mbu in The Sun. I think it was on Sunday. It was very interesting. Because when I read his case, I asked myself, is Mbu really the problem? Because when a man says, I came to Rivers State and I found that the speaker himself had close to 27 policemen to himself, and all the members had so many police officers, and I said, if we're going to keep peace in this place, we can't have politicians taking over all the competent police officers, holding all the weapons. So I had to draw back and maybe live with the speaker 7, live with these people 2-2, and things like that. Then Mbu is complaining that the governor, of course, has his ADC or whoever they call him, and that the governor will not speak to him directly. The governor would speak through the ADC to give him instructions. And that at a point he got so angry and he told the ADC that the next time you call me to give me instructions, I will use internal police discipline to discipline you. And the man stopped calling him. Then the governor now would call, but the governor obviously is reluctant to talk to him. And Mbu is the same person that left Oyo State to go to Rivers State. And you find that in Oyo State, Mbu is held in high esteem. So, you need to read that interview, and you need to read between the lines and find out, is Mbu really the problem? Mbu is of the view that the governor himself wants to do things his own way and wants a commissioner that will play ball with him. The IG himself, the Inspector General of Police, also granted, is it an interview or a write-up where he was talking about the governors demanding state police. Now, what Mbu is inferring is The governor of Rivers State wants a policeman that answers to his call. Now, for Nigeria, it's necessary, from what the IG said, that the police commissioner or the police establishment completely do not answer to any governor or president.
Let me even bring you this, so you could respond to it alongside your train of thought.
Yeah.
Is it possible, or do you think that a commissioner of police can perhaps be his own man or do certain things that is being accused of him by a state governor without getting some sort of support from superiors? Could be anywhere.
Now, I believe in asking this question, you were inferring that, like, not basically inferring, like I was listening to your last guest here, who in a lot of his opinion, felt that there must be some leading, maybe from the presidency, from the executive, guiding how Mbu behaves, that gives him the confidence to do some of the things he's doing. But then I'll look at this. There is the Inspector General of Police, Abubakar, who is in charge of the police force. And from the body language and the signs I see, I believe that Abubakar is in charge. I wonder what kind of closeness Mbu would have with President Jonathan, such that when Mbu wants to go and maybe, like the last one where they said the police came and shot out people from the State House of Assembly, they will call the president to ask whether he should go and do that.
Yeah, I'm looking at that, having at the back of our minds that it's not every time in this country that you get this kind of report where they're telling you that the governor is the chief security officer in the state and the commissioner of police is not taking instructions from the chief security officer of the state.
Yeah.
So one then wonders, and then you say the IGP is there, he's in charge. So, and then that question of objectivity of the police, treating all politicians the same way, which is what Nigerians yearn to see. So if this is happening, is it normal? Is it natural? Is it just doing it based on, hey, I just have to be my own man here?
Well, you see, I believe that the commissioner of police has superiors. Even, I just learned that in spite of the fact that there's a commissioner of police in every state, there's also a DIG who is over him in a zonal structure in some states. So even him, in Rivers State, is not the final boss for the police in Rivers State's area. There obviously must be a DIG in that zona that is over him. Okay.
As well as an AIG.
An AIG, a DIG, and then the IG. So that if Mbu has not been removed, if we say that there's partisanship, it is within the purview of the IG to remove Mbu. It doesn't take anything. It's just a reposting. It doesn't take anything. It can do so. Now, Mbu must be protected by the statutes and what he's doing. Because, people can be, a mob can be, what's the word now, passionate about something and act in a mob action, and then later with reason will come over and you find that they did the wrong thing. But those who are in charge can't act based on passion. They must act based on facts. And I want to believe that...
Isn't that what we expect?
Yes.
But is that what usually happens?
No, I'm saying that the fact that Mbu has remained in Rivers State till now can only be because Mbu has not really broken the rules. If he has, I do not see how the IG would allow him to remain in Rivers State up till now, when clearly he is his own man running amok in that place.
But if you say rules defined by who? Because there are several cases where in this country you see that maybe someone in a high political office, appointed or elected, does something, and then the citizenry expect the police to move in and commence investigation. But the next thing you hear, it's either the National Assembly's oversight committee or a committee somewhere is set up to investigate the matter, and then you ask yourself, at the end of the day,
what are the police doing?
Yeah, so...
Well, you see, in this particular situation that we're talking about, I must tell you that in Rivers State, there is a division. There are two camps. Forget whether Jonathan is president or Basanjo is president or whoever is president. There is a very strong Wike camp. Very strong. And there is a strong group on the ground. There is Rotimi Amechi camp. No matter what Jonathan does, Wike's ambition is not going to be undermined by the president or by Amechi. Amechi's ambition is not going to be undermined by the president or by Wike. And no matter what Abubakar does or Jonathan does, this is river politics, river state politics. There's nothing you can do about it.
So this is about both of them.
Yes, the only thing that can make sense in River State is to have a police officer. You see, the police should look at Mbu's actions and look at Mbu and find out if he's strong enough to be there. Because you should not allow the governor to take the police and put in his pocket. It's not in the interest of the people.